So at the end of the last episode, I said let's not really hit the panic button, but about that, yeah, um, Bruins lose 3-1 to the Ottawa Senators. Just god damn it, just god damn it. And now I'll say this, the Bruins had a great game. You don't outshoot a team 39-22 on a fluke. But at the end of it, they still didn't get the job done. And now that they've dropped 3 straight games, and keep in mind, let's talk about what these games were. You have the St. Louis game. Bruins played, I thought, a good game, maybe even a great game, but St. Louis, who blew a lead the night before, got the lead finally in the third period and shut it down. The Buffalo game, we saw an old trend pop up. It's been a trend all season. The Bruins get the lead, they take the foot off the gas, they pay for it, and lose like they should. And then tonight, they have a great rebound performance, and not to discredit Craig Anderson or the Ottawa defense, the Bruins needed to win this game, and they should have won this game. The finish just wasn't there. You get burned by a late power play goal from Mark Stone at the end of the first period. Jimmy Hayes gets an instigator penalty. Mark Borowiecki ends up hitting Frank Vetrano. Hayes comes after him. He gets the instigator penalty. And that probably leads already to my question of the game for you guys. What do you think? Was the instigator call right or wrong? In this situation, I really have no problem with Jimmy Hayes doing what he did. But unfortunately, of course, it did lead to that power play goal. Second period, the Bruins get back in it. They finally chip away. Matt Bolesky, again, working his ass off. I love the Krejci, Bolesky, Louis line, which of course leads to the fact that we might not be seeing it. Krejci, though, cuts in front, left completely uncovered, gets the goal, barely sneaks in, takes a review. Honestly, my second question, did you think this was a goal? Yes, obviously across the line, but you can't really see it perfectly cross the line. But regardless, the goal counts. The Bruins are back in it. It's 1-1, and then it's another late goal. Mika Zibanejad gets it, who, by the way, had one hell of a game. Very impressed with him. His speed is fucking unreal, or at least his acceleration. But the Bruins get burned by another late goal in a period, and then in the third period, an empty net goal for Mark Stone caps it off. So to me, you can't really pinpoint what's the one reason they lost. There was a myriad of reasons. Whether it was the right or wrong thing to do, that instigator penalty leads to the Bruins penalty kill finally breaking. They had such a good stretch. I think it was 26 in a row. Slowly but surely, that penalty kill returned back to its prior form that we've seen in the years past. It finally breaks. David Krejci, injured in the second period. At the time of recording this, no word yet on what it could be. But if David Krejci's out again, the Bruins are in trouble. I mean, that's the understatement of the century. You can't really put into words how valuable David Krejci is to this team. And then, of course, you had defensive changes. Colin Miller sits, and, of course, Torrey Krug still out. Trotman and Morrow both get into the game. I didn't really think either of them were that bad. But just down the stretch, you see this team slowly run out of gas, and I think they just got a little bit disheartened by, again, that other late second period goal from Zibanejad. I think that just took the wind out of them. They couldn't really get back into it. I think they had 31 shots in the first 40, the first 2 periods, and then only 8 in the third period. So I think they just ran out of gas, they ran out of steam, and they ran out of hope, really. And now that they've lost 3 straight, their record now falls to 19-12-4. 3-game losing streak, matches their longest losing streak of the season. Of course, we haven't really had this level of struggle since the start of the season, but it is very disheartening to know that you've had all of these chances to take the top of the Atlantic, and now you've been dropped down to a wild card spot. 2 teams have now eclipsed Montreal since Montreal's recent struggles. Neither of those teams are Boston. It was Detroit, and now it's Florida, who as of the morning of December 28th currently sit top of the Atlantic. Now the Bruins are 1 game back of Florida, 36-35, 2 points back. They're tied in games and 1 point back clear of Detroit. Still have 2 games at hand on Montreal and only 1 point back, so they're still in a good spot. But now wasn't the time for struggles. Now really wasn't the time to be struggling, because just imagine, you're winning these games, or hey, you've at least won 2 out of 3. You're on a good stretch. You go into the Winter Classic against a Montreal team that is just playing some of the worst hockey they've played in recent years, and yes, I'm even counting, I think it was 2013, where they finished second, fourth, somewhere in there, and they got Alex Galchenyuk. But the stage was set. It was on a silver platter for you to just walk into the Winter Classic and beat the shit out of Montreal, and now that's not so clear. And the Winter Classic just became even more of a crucial game for both teams in the season, because I truly think if Montreal now wins the Winter Classic, their season turns around and the Bruins might start to decline even more. But that will do it for this recap, guys. Fingers crossed that David Krejci's fine. Fingers crossed that Torrey Krug is alright. Tuesday, it's another rematch, this time at TD Garden against the Senators, and then straight to the Winter Classic. And at this point, all I can think to say is just try. And I'm saying this more to myself than anybody else. Just try to be optimistic and hope again that this team can turn it around on Tuesday. If they don't, just good God if they don't.